are going for a whole hour. Straight dog talk and the song. Jump on in and speculate. Show up on time, don't be weak and late. We are community, so don't hate. And learn to cooperate. Yeah, hit that like button and do your thing. 5 membership will get you in. So let's talk dogs and don't waste no time. Monday 7 p.c.s.t. Don't come doing the HATE. Otherwise Hollywood will give you the BYE. Here we go, kill the whistle. Oh yeah, we are going for a whole hour. Straight dog talk and the song. Jump on in and speculate. Show up on time, don't be weak and late. We are community, so don't hate. And learn to cooperate. Hit that like button and do your thing. 5 membership will get you in. So let's talk dogs and don't waste no time. Monday 7 p.c.s.t. Don't come doing the HATE. Otherwise Hollywood will give you the BYE.
The BYE. What is going on, fams? It is Monday Bully Live. You know, we do this every Monday at 7 p.m. CST. And, man, we are getting ready. Adam Fields says he's digging the intro. Hollywood literally heard it 1 minute before we went live, and he said, that's what I'm talking about. And then he did a particular dance that I can't say he did because I promise I wouldn't say it. He's cracking up right now in the back. Let me bring my guy, Michael Higginson. What's up, bro?
What's going on, fam?
Hey, man, you know how it is, man. We doing it. Now, Hollywood, you got to do the new interrupt button. Go find it. If you want to come in here, you got to do the new interrupt button, man. Yeah. We're gonna be showing off all the new features tonight, man. Go ahead, Hollywood. No. Here, I'll do it for you. Blow the whistle. There you go. Blow the whistle. What's going on, Hollywood?
Oh, I see it now. I thought it was down at the bottom. I was gonna say you better be careful. I'm gonna get the BYE.
Yeah. Well, I was careful. That's why I didn't put it. Oh, Adam Fields figured out what it was. Look at his comment.
Oh yeah, he knows. That's why.
There you go.
There
you go, man. Hey, let's jump on topic here, man. So, look, let's get to the chase. Cut to the chase.
Let's get to it.
Mike, what do you think is better, bro? You have an overdone extreme that isn't functional. Pretty much is going to win stack offs for you. Or do you want something that is less overdone and is functional? You're going to throw the ball. You're going to be able to go get it, bring it back without having a heart attack. Which of the two are you wanting, man?
I'm glad you asked. Well, I think that each one serves a purpose.
Okay.
You know, that is definitely the full spectrum. For me personally, my personal preference, I prefer a functional dog. I think for the show world, it's somewhere in between is what they want. They want as extreme and big as we can get and still have that mobility.
Functionality.
Yes, sir.
But in reality, when you go to a show, like Malachi is saying, somewhere in the middle, and I'm shooting for that somewhere in the middle. But
yes, sir.
Realistically speaking, do you feel the community is just flapping at the mouth and just gravitating toward extreme? Do you think they're flapping at the mouth and they really are trying to hit that middle spot? What do you think is really going on, man?
I think as of right now, I think they are gravitating more towards extreme and they're sacrificing the mobility. But I think the goal is to have a little more functionality to a more extreme dog than a classic.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more with that, at least that being the goal. Now, if you're just stuck on winning stack offs, then obviously the functionality part's going to go out the window, and all you're going to do is show a dog that's, I think somebody came out here talking about the dog has to be as wide as it is tall. And look, man,
I've seen
the dog could be as wide as it is tall, but there's more to it than just that. The dog has to be functional, cannot be breaking down within 4 or 5 years, has to have quality of life. Otherwise, as breeders, what the hell are we doing?
I agree.
I mean, come on, man. If your whole purpose in life is to go win a stack off, then I mean, I don't know what to tell you, bro. I mean, I think
So for
stack
me,
offs are great, and they show off our breed. They show off what our breed is all about, what it can do, all that good
yeah,
stuff.
yeah,
But are you going to sacrifice the dog's health, well-being, and quality of life so he can win a stack off and so you could brag?
yeah.
That's really what it comes down to, man.
It is, man. I've seen some pretty good big looking dogs that move well, but a lot of them don't, man. And I think there is a really fine line there, and that's where being a real breeder and doing your research and learning how to walk that line, especially having the right height for an XL. You know, the XL, you get too much taller than 21 inches for a male, you're gonna have a extremely good moving dog, but it's not going to have that girth that people are wanting right now. Maybe 21 and a half at the tallest, maybe to still have a broad dog with what we're chasing down right now. But you get a 20, but I've seen, man, like Archangel's a good example. Bruce's
Right.
dog, man, it's a little over the limit. It's a little beyond 23, but man, that dude is so broad in the front, man, big, broad chest and moves well, but it's hard to have that and not be over the height limit. You know what I mean? It's really hard to ride that line and be in range and still have those extreme features and a functional dog. That's definitely a
Yeah,
sweet spot.
I think that's just it. I think this community, I think this breed came from the urban culture. The urban culture kind of embraced this breed. And I kind of feel that sometimes because it's a culture of possible extremes, like the type of music, lyrics, style, whatever. When we try to translate it to a dog breed, I think that somewhere along those lines, that's where we could kind of, bang our heads, in that, yeah, we want functionality, but man, let me add a little bit more. And then let me add a little bit more. And then let me add a little bit more. And then we're just adding more and more and more and more. Now we're affecting, movement. We're affecting rears. We're affecting this. Who cares, man? As long as, when we put the tape on the chest, it says 25 inches. That's really what we're looking for. And I would dare to say that the same goes with XXLs. Um, in reality, XXLs or double XLs, um, I don't believe they're sanctioned by any one of the top 3 registries for the American Bully. But when I first came in breeding, the way to impress was the taller dog you had, the bigger dog you had. I'll never forget, I went to a show that Danny Cervantes, Mr. Second to Nothing but love for you, brother. He invited me to a show in Allentown, PA. And I went over there and they brought in these XXLs, bro, that literally, bro, it looked more like a Great Dane with a bully cut, ear crop. That's really what it was. And my thing is, what's it going to take for the ABKC? And don't get me wrong, they may very well be doing this, and I'm unaware. But what's it going to take for the parameters of what we're wanting from the bully for that target to kind of hone in a little bit more on the bullseye? Oh, bless you, bro. Because if we start allowing every and anything, then we're going to be where we were about 8-7 years ago, where in reality, everybody was asking themselves, what the hell's an American Bully? I do feel that the last 5 years has made great strides. I feel that bully type, breed type has come in a lot, mostly in the standard class. I think they have really honed in, and that's where that extreme look and yet still functional enough to go in the ring has come in. But let me ask you this, Mike, because you were our ringside reporter this year at Nationals. Did you feel the standard class as a whole? Did you feel that it's kind of tilting more to the extreme look rather than functional? I mean, last year's winner, um, made it into second place this year. Do you think that was the case for functionality, or that was more of a case of what? Let me know what your thoughts are on that.
I think, yeah, I think exactly that. Over the last just few years, and especially from last year to this year, they are what was an exceptional standard 2 years ago, 3 years ago, is now more of a classic dog. And then what's becoming the peak of interest in the standard class is more extreme than it was just a year or two ago. For sure.
Yeah. Do you feel that those dogs in the standard class? I know a lot of people were saying, now, guys, listen to what I'm about to say and don't misconstrue it. Because, in fact, let me say this before I say that, because there's going to be plenty of people that might want to run with it. And that is, it is so unfortunate this year, Nationals winner, how much hate it got. And, I was the first person to come out on my platform and say 99.9% of these people throwing the hate out here are people that when you click on their Facebook page and you look at their dogs, not only do they not have a dog in the fight, but they would never even be close to competing, right? So to me, that's people like that and their voice. And I know everybody has an opinion, but opinions are like body parts. Everybody's got one, right? And when you got dogs that look like pit bulls and you're sitting here, you didn't even go to Nationals, you probably never even been to a dog show, and you're out here just talking nonsense because the guy that sold you the dog knows a guy that knows a guy, and this dog doesn't fit into that clique, and therefore now you're deciding to hate. So I don't want to go down that road, but I do want to say that the dogs were asked to run around the ring twice. We know that Jack, the Nationals champion, had gone 3 consecutive shows. A lot was brought up that they were running out of gas because they had to go around the ring twice. You were there ringside, okay? We were watching you live, or better yet, we were watching live through your phone. What do you think if someone was to tell you that they were running out of gas, and how would you relate that to functionality and or extreme? Are we going way too far?
Personally, I don't think that was the issue in that case.
Okay.
What you
Why?
couldn't see there when you watch some of the clips and you hear some of the things people are saying, and they show the dog under the blanket and the fan and the whole deal, and they're like, "Wow, he competed to win," and then they had to cover him up. And so, for one thing, they've been doing that to dogs for a long time when they put on a long, hard performance. Giving them all the extra treatment. That's spoiling a dog, really. Give them the cooling blanket and the fan and some water and all that. I mean, that's just really spoiling your dog. And a lot of people do that. What you couldn't see is it wasn't just the long last round there where he went around a couple times. He actually won, 3 different shows in a row. And so
Right.
was actually in the ring quite a bit, man. And have I seen dogs that are close to his size that may have been longer winded? I have. I don't think he was necessarily out of shape, or maybe it was just that. Maybe he's in the right place, but maybe they didn't run him enough, get his wind up enough. I know
Okay.
there's some preparations that go into showing that. Uh, you know, People have talked on here before a little bit about it. You really need to condition your dog for that kind of performance. If you just take them straight from the couch to that, you're going to have a winded dog. I don't think it was because he was too extreme. And just
Okay.
since we're talking about the top two, Hangman did it what appeared to be more effortlessly. But I don't think that there was anything wrong with the winning dog as far as,
So in your opinion, we haven't gone over the top. At least the dogs that were in the ring at nationals, right? They hadn't gone over the top. Now, obviously, there's breeders that breed outside of the, they don't take dogs into the ring that may take things a lot further, right? What would you say to breeders that do that? Breeders that say they don't breed to take dogs in the ring, but they breed to make tools. What would you say? What would you say to a comment like that?
I think depending on what you're doing with the dog, the line of ethics is a little different. I wish it wasn't, but it really is. And so, to me,
Hold on a second. Hey, Kyle, do me Frank. Hollywood's about to give you the BYE, bro. You're about to find out what it is. Yeah, get him out, bro. Number love, man. Sorry, go ahead, Michael. Didn't mean to interrupt you.
yeah, I can't imagine why anybody would say something like that. It's ridiculous. They've
Yeah,
obviously never been around our breed for 1 second.
right.
I'll tell you what, I've been around dogs all my life. This is the most exceptional breed I have ever been in contact with. They are wonderful dogs. But yeah, man, I think there is an ethical line between, what you're doing with the dog in different, different arenas, whether it's
Yeah.
just an extreme dog or a show dog, or just you're just breeding this breed and then maybe, you've got puppies available. There's different worlds there within this world. And the lines vary in that because of that. But to add a little bit to a little bit of closure to what I said right before then was,
Right.
another factor is that you can't leave out when you're a handler and you're on that big stage, man, and you got everything in your life on the line. You're nervous and you want everything to be perfect, and it's real easy to keep that snake lead too tight on your dog. Because you're trying to
Good
control the
point.
head movement and keep them tall and proud at all times. And he's tired. He wants
And you're
hang. You want to hold him
mistakenly
up.
choking him is what you're leading to, right?
And I'm not saying that's necessarily what happened there, and not taking a shot at the guy, but it's easy to choke your dog more than you would like and not even realize it. Just trying to keep their posture up.
I can I could definitely see that. In fact, I will say, if I'm remembering correctly, when they were running around the ring, some of the handlers were ahead of the dog. Not to say that they were yanking and pulling the dog or any of that, but it just makes it a lot easier to do what you just said, which is to kind of choke them without even realizing it.
Because in your mind,
very
you're
good.
thinking like, don't slouch on me now. Don't sit. Don't drag. Don't, and you're trying to manage that in the moment. And, that it's just a real fine line between having a taut lead and putting a little too much pressure on the neck. And you get nervous, man. It's easy to do.
Yeah. I can definitely agree with that. I can definitely say this as well. And again, I've never handled a dog in the ring, so this is just speculation on my behalf. But I would think that being relaxed when you're up there, I know it's easier said than done. It's easier for me to say it than do it, right? But I would try, if I was a handler and I had a dog that could make it that far, I would try throughout my showings to make it as seamless, and the bigger the stakes, the more relaxed you become. Because I have found that the more perfect you try to make things happen in such a pressure-filled situation, the more that one tiny thing can go off, and then that could create a cascade of events where you start making mistakes. The dog is he's feeding off of, he or she's feeding off of your
The
energy.
term they used in the ring is your nerves go down the lead.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so they recommend that handlers chew gum, and that little
Yes.
distraction makes your connection between you and your dog through that lead a little smoother. If
Yes.
you're having issues with nerves, it definitely the connection between you and your dog in that moment and the emotion can definitely transfer, man. It is
Yeah, I couldn't agree. Malachi just dropped a comment. Excuse me. He says, I don't think a lot of people understand how overstimulating it is for a dog to be in the ring around tons of people on the highest platforms of a dog show. Even me watching, I get overstimulated. I remember watching the live through your phone here in studio, talking it up and whatnot. I was hyped up.
dude, I'm gonna tell
So,
you right now, he really said a mouthful then.
yeah,
It is overstimulating. Like, we at home we like to say we know how smart dogs are. We're impressed with their intelligence and their ability to do different things. And then in the ring, we act like we forget it.
right.
Man, if you don't think those dogs know that they're competing against other dogs, and they also know that their job is to meet your expectations, and I mean they're aware of that whole environment and the dynamics of it. They truly are, man. Um, I've seen dogs, you can't get them to act right, get them in the ring, and they're like, boom, they're ready to go, man. It's like, okay, you know what we're here to do. You see that a lot.
Yeah, it's
Uh,
funny. It's funny you say that. And Jaira Grimm says that he says the dog feels your energy. I couldn't
100%.
agree more. I have a couple of friends that are horse breeders, right? And they say that when the horse, they get in the cage when they're about to run, the testosterone levels are through the roof. The adrenaline is through the roof. They're ready to go, man. They're ready to take off and just haul. And it's because they actually know what they're there for.
They
Uh,
know,
I
man.
I couldn't agree with you, man. And Serrata says, I totally agree about the tendency to pull too hard on the lead in the ring, especially as a newer handler. Um, Caleb Weddle. Caleb, what's up, man? Number love, man. Appreciate you.
What's up,
What's
brother?
up, Raul, Michael, and Bully fam? Nothing much, man. Thanks for coming on. Shout out to Big Bruce. I heard he's now an ICBR judge, man. I
Yeah.
couldn't think of somebody
Congratulations.
that deserved it anymore.
Yeah.
And
He's
definitely,
excited, man.
guys, if you're not tuning in to Tuesday night Bully Talk, did I say it right, Michael?
Yeah, you said it just right, brother.
Okay, so if you're not tuning in, you definitely need to go there. Mike is over there. So is Caleb Weddle. So is Amanda Nixon. And definitely my dude, Bruce Lang, man. Go over there and check him out. Give him his flowers, man. Number
Yeah.
love.
He's so excited, man.
I bet.
We were talking earlier about it, man. He's stoked. He plans to move into that as he gets closer to retirement and get into doing some of that. I'm just really excited for him.
Me too, man. I couldn't think of a better guy, man.
For sure.
We got Adam Fields saying, I'm more comfortable at a dog show than the mall, Malachi. Oh, there we go. There
I'll
we
tell you
go.
what, man, the best thing that I do, like, if you've ever seen the movie The Last Samurai, and he's
Yes.
teaching him how to sword fight, and he says, you've got too many minds. Mind of warrior, mind of battle, mind of people watching, and it really struck with me. I remembered that, and I relate that to the dog show. I try not to think about the judge and the competition and what I have on the line and the money invested. I don't.
Just
I
you
don't.
and the dog.
I just think about going through my motions with my dog and getting him into the postures I want him in and keeping him lighthearted. And I want him to have fun. I don't want him to be nervous. And if we do great, we do great, man. And it's worked for me. So
No, definitely. I feel that would be my approach if I was a handler, only because I understand that the dog feeds off of my energy. And if you allow the outside environment to come in, it's going to go down that lead to the dog.
and I'll
So
tell you
you
what
got to
else
be
too,
able to
Raul.
block that out. Huh?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'll tell you what else too. And I actually, my guy Thaddeus Robinson actually put this lesson on me, man. So I was doing a great job handling my dog, but I wasn't comfortable and fluid in some of the motions and tricks that you do to control your dog in the ring.
Okay.
whenever, so I was able to get him to do it, but I wasn't as fluid as I needed to be,
Right.
and I thought it was the dog, but it was me. And he said, let me work with him a minute. And he was able to get him to do all the things at that time. This was years ago that I couldn't do, and I was like, okay, it is me.
Right.
It's not, when you're working with somebody that's training you how to do anything, their movements are trained. It's fluid. There's no wasted steps and things like that. And it kind of leads the
It
dog
flew.
like a good dancer. If they're a good dancer, they're just leading you in all the right ways. You don't have to do much. And that's I think that's really true with handling them in the ring, man. If you're a good handler and you're experienced and know kind of how to get them to do it, you don't even have to have a dog all that trained, man, because you can work them.
You get them to flow.
Yeah.
Real quick, we got Caleb saying, I was standing on the wrong side of my dog when stacking her up the first time I went in the ring. I was so nervous. I didn't even realize till the judge said something. Hey, you know, and that would be something that would happen to all of us, man.
Yeah.
And thank you for sharing that, Caleb. Hopefully, people that are wondering if they should go in the ring or not, from what I understand, and I've been to a couple of shows and I've seen it as well, is new people that go in, ask questions, man. People are more than willing to help you out and give you pointers and give you an
Yes,
idea as
sir.
to what's going on.
The judges
Caleb,
too.
yeah, he follows up by saying, yes, big unk, so deserving. I appreciate the love, brother. Oh, man, you got it, man. Nothing but love and respect for you guys over there, man. Keep doing what you're doing, man.
Yeah, 100%.
Let's see. Caleb's saying, great analogy, Michael. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think that the flow is definitely necessary, but for you to get to the flow, you obviously need to know what you're doing to that point where you could almost predict what the dog is going to do or have an answer, an immediate response for anything the dog does, right? Outside of what you want them to do, which keeps you in a relaxed state
That's
because you
right.
already got the answer. You're just
That's
waiting
real.
for
That's
him to,
really it.
yeah, you're waiting for him or her to do something and then just, or, whatever your correction is and keep it going.
Yeah.
But back to our original point, man. Um, would you say a dog that is wider than he is tall, would you say we took it too far?
I love this topic, Ro, because in some cases, yes, in some cases, no, man. Like it's the strangest thing. And as we dive into these genetics, man, I'm learning a lot more about this. I like to think I know a lot, and always eager to learn more. But I love where we're going with it because you see one dog that is wider than it is tall, just a really broad, muscular dog that moves great. And then you see another one that's taller and not as wide, that's stiff and not as mobile. It's a weird balance between bone and muscle and soft tissue and and all the joints and ligaments and stuff. There's a lot of things that cooperate there, that make a dog functional. And I've seen some pretty big dogs that move pretty well. So it's like I don't feel comfortable definitively saying, well, if it's this wide or this tall or weighs this much, that it's not going to function, because some of them do.
Some
You
of them
know,
will. Yeah, you will get freaks of natures. The one thing, I guess, the one thing that you will see out there is going to be sometimes breeders will try to force something, and sometimes it's not even trying to force it. Sometimes you're just trying to create something, right? I mean, don't get it wrong. Whether you like it or not, whether you're doing just functionality or you're just trying to get extreme, we're all trying to get that wow factor, right? We
right?
all are. I don't care who it is. I
Yeah,
am, Mike is, everybody is,
that's right.
right? How do we achieve that wow factor? Some of us will do it with functionality. Some of us will do it with girthiness. Some of us will hit that sweet spot right smack in the middle. And that's how it's done. My thing is, um, as long as you're not affecting the dog's quality of life, whether you're reducing their size. By the way, I want to send a special shout out to the micro community. It seems like they're trending to healthier micros. They really are.
Yes,
And
they are.
I'm definitely tipping my hat off to them. Now, me in the micro community, I've never bred micros. I've always been on the opposite side of the spectrum with the XLs. It is just now that I've owned several pockets for the first time and standards. I doubt I will ever breed for micros, but definitely I want to shout them out for taking a stand and making their line or their class of the breed healthier. I've
Couldn't agree
actually,
more, man.
yeah, I've actually seen several. I don't recall, and I don't want to misquote, but I seen that dog Cowboy. I'm not sure if he's a pocket or a micro.
He's a micro, and
Okay,
he's out of something Pride. God, I can see the logo almost in my head, but I think they're from Canada, if I'm not mistaken. That
wow,
that really light lilac boy,
yes,
cowboy. Their whole line are almost, they all resemble quite a bit. A lot of phenotypical matching dogs there in that camp, and they've got some beautiful functional micros. I think just maybe a decade ago, you know, pockets were not what they are now. Now they've got more breed type than any of them. But
they yeah, they're it's changing, it's evolving, and I will say it is for the better. You're getting longer legs in the front. You're
hmm
not getting the chondrodysplasia
yeah, the
so
dwarfism, yeah,
bad, where the dog is looking all wonky.
yeah,
There's still some east west, okay. I get it, but definitely you got to give the flowers to where they belong. We're
hmm
definitely improving in those areas.
and I think areas that is improving as well.
Uh-oh.
I just
There,
looked it up. Hey Mike, is it Prize Bulls?
Yes, that's it. Thank you. It's a
Got you.
blue
hey,
and it's a
Hollywood.
blue. Is it blue and yellow?
Yeah, it's a nice looking lilac.
Yeah, man. See if you can pull up a
I
picture.
couldn't even believe that was micro. I was like, holy crap,
Yeah,
that's a
bring them up so
it,
people can
it
see
just
them.
looks like a miniature standard.
Standard.
Dude,
Yeah.
if you got nothing to reference him in the photo, you'd never know it's a micro.
You
That's
never
what I
know it's
love.
a micro.
And there are a few of them out there like that, man. And like you said, hats off to them. I've actually kind of stood in opposition of that class of dog for
I
my
did as
Yeah,
original
me
well.
too.
in the start of getting into this, because I had some real issues with the dogs that were living like just a year or two or three, and they were dying at shows, and some of that still goes on. But like you said, they have raised the bar, and
Yes.
people that have gotten into these micros are starting to they're
I'm gonna
starting to
pull it up
build
for you.
more functional dogs, man.
Yeah, thank you, Kyle. Number love, man. I appreciate it. Real quick, I want to make a statement because G-Line, I got number love for you. He says, I watched 2023 Nationals and 2024 Nationals just to see what the debate was about. And I think Hangman should have won. He moved so gracefully. And Bully. Now, I will say this. I think we spoke about this, Mike.
Yeah,
Of
we
all
did.
the dogs in the ring, I felt that the best movement came out of Hangman last year and this year. I mean, he just moves very gracefully. With
Yeah.
that being said, we all know that Hangman is what they consider now to be a classic. Maybe if we were to push him back 5 years, he'd be a standard. But now the standard class has moved to have some extreme features and yet be functional at the same time. I'm not sure that that's what they were looking for this year. I do agree with you. He was moving better than any dog in there.
He looked the best
But
he's ever looked. Yeah.
yes, but does he have maybe the extreme features that the ABKC is looking for at this point? No. And that may be one of the main reasons why he is moving so much more gracefully than everybody else. If I give you a 60-pound ruck to carry, right, and I tell you to moonwalk, and then I take the 60-pound ruck off of you and tell you to moonwalk, you're going to moonwalk a lot easier when you don't have the 60-pound ruck on you, right? And so I don't know exactly. I keep in mind, I did ask the judge. I believe we were the only platform that got to the judge, Mike.
Yeah, I got us in there, didn't I?
Yeah. And I asked him directly, I said, what did you see in him that, put him above? And he said two things. He said, first, the dog had gone through 3 shows in a row, and there was no slacking on the dog's behalf. I'm talking about Grand Champion Jack. And then number 2, he said, the dog is all bully. Now, that can mean so many things to so many different people, right? At the same time. But that's what the judge said. And in my interpretation, it may very well be that they're moving in that direction. This is that boy Cowboy.
Cowboy, yeah.
Yeah, that Kyle's just brought up, man.
Kyle, see if you can if you see, yeah, I was gonna say, show some of the other stuff on their yard.
He's got other ones
like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Everything they got out there, man, is very consistent, man. They got some beautiful micros out there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look at that dog,
and
man.
you cannot tell me that these people here are not genetically breeding. You
100%.
cannot tell me that. I am sure they're making sure that the dog does not have chondrodysplasia whenever they're breeding. There's no way you're going to get dogs at a micro size looking like that, man.
Yeah, they have the best looking micros I've seen to date, for sure. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, man. Look at that. Look at them little. No, but that can't be a micro, bro. Look at the dude's knee. Oh, yeah.
They're shorter than a pocket.
Yeah, yeah. Wow, man.
Yeah.
Wow. All right, Hollywood. I appreciate you, bro. Thank you on that.
Yeah. I do agree with what the judge said.
Right.
I think Jack, and what they're looking for is more bully, and I hate to cater to politics,
right?
But you have to look at this, man. We're still a growing, developing, evolving breed,
right?
And if a dog wins 2 years in a row, they're saying we found the American Bully. This is it.
That's what we spoke on, you and I. Now I will say this: as much as I've given my flowers to the ABKC for the improvement, like I said, in the last 5 years, I feel like the breed standard has been moving in that direction, particularly in the standard class. I will say this. I keep it 100. I don't feel the ABKC at nationals is going to be like the NFL. It's just not. Okay. I feel it's going to be more like the WWE. This is why I believe that if your dog is amongst the 10 best dogs in the world, you already won. Yeah, it doesn't matter if they give you your flowers, if your dog wins it all there or it doesn't. There's a lot of politics, there's a million things going on. Okay. You don't know what's going through that judge's mind. You don't know what
definitely if you make that last cut, for sure.
Right. My whole point is, if you made it into the ring as a top 10 dog for that particular class, consider yourself one. I can tell you this. All right. I can tell you this. There's a reason why I don't like going to dog shows whenever my dogs are showing. Because when I go to dog shows, whenever my dogs are showing, somehow my dogs never perform well. It could be I said something on this live that pissed off the judge or pissed off the owner of the registry, or it just may be bad luck altogether. But I don't put it past it, because there is a human component to judging. It's not like you're playing football and you kick the ball. If you make it through the uprights, is good, and no one could take that from you. No, this is judging. So there is a human component. So I think we put too much emphasis as to who wins and who doesn't, rather than, dude, if your cat made it in the top 10, bro, you won. That's it.
Yeah. I something else to consider, and I have no beef with the judges from this year, and I don't have any qualms with the decisions they made. I know it's a tough spot to be in, and they're looking at it from a different perspective than anybody else. They see things that you don't from the sidelines, that they're right there in the right spot, and the dog is positioned to show them its best, and we don't see it from that same perspective. So, but I liked it when they brought in judges from overseas because they don't have a dog in the fight here. They don't know any of these dogs by name. They're judging the dog, and I don't have a problem with a local judge, but when you're at nationals, man, when you bring in the big guns from somewhere else, there's no bias, anything. And I'm not saying there was bias this year, but
Right.
I felt like that was something cool that they had done before. I really appreciated that, you know.
I can see that. Hold on, Hollywood. You need to be hitting that other button, but give me a second real quick. Ryan N is saying, does NuVet have probiotics in it? It actually does. He said, I just started my pup on it and wondered if I can stop giving him the other supplement. And yes, you can. NuVet does have a prebiotic in it. And actually, I take it back. They do not have a probiotic. They have a prebiotic. Now, if you wanted to add a probiotic to it, all you need to do is buy yourself a small little plain cup of yogurt and dip the spoon and just throw it in there, and that's probably going to be more than enough for a 100-pound dog. V Bully says, rest in peace, Cowboy. He passed away, I take it.
Yeah, no, yeah. Cowboy himself is gone. But they still have a ton of good looking dogs that look just like him over there. But
okay,
that dog in particular is passed away. Yes, sir.
Oh wait, give me that dance. Do it again. No. You got to do it again. There you go. What's up, man?
So I always bring it back to bodybuilding, and every year people are always saying, "Man, this person should have won. This person looked way better," and this, that, and the other. But truthfully, you really don't know until you're in person and seeing that dog and what's going on. Just like bodybuilding, man, you might think this person looked better, but that last final call, this person probably had way thinner skin. It was tighter, something you can't see on camera. And that's why I always refer back to that, because you have no idea what is really going on. You can watch videos and pictures all day, but what they're seeing and looking for is completely different. You're never going to see that.
That's so
absolutely
true, man.
That's
I
why
really
I
like
say
this
there's a
question
human
right here.
component. Now we have a question here from Adam Fields, all the way in the ALA. How long do you think it will take for our breed to be more consistent across all classes?
I like this question, man.
I do too. It's a very intricate question, man. I think we're starting to see some of that now in the pocket with this boy Cowboy and their line over there. Like I said, I'm noticing that micros are improving. XLs, I think of all the classes, we're probably as a whole behind everybody else, man. Until the XL can come up with an XL that looks like the breed type, both mass wise and anatomically wise, I don't think we've hit that point. I think there are very good XLs out there. There's some phenomenal looking XLs out there. Yeah. But do they measure up to the picture on the American Bully standard? Let's be real.
Very, very few, if any at all. Yeah.
Yeah.
I do think we're closer than we've ever been. And, coincidentally, I will say that I think the direction that we're going, we're like here on QBN, is really important, man. Phenotypical breeding is very important. It always has been.
Yes.
You have to add in the tools that we have, and the genetic breeding is such a powerful tool, man. We've always called it a flashlight in the dark, and it really is. And I think now that is becoming more prevalent, people are using it a lot more and becoming more of a household thing. Everybody knows about it. I think we're within 4 to 6 years away from rounding a tough corner that we've been stuck on here for a while, man. We're actually we have the potential to really kind of get to a good place within our breed.
Well, I want to, you hit on something, man, because we do genetic testing. I've been doing my research on how to produce dogs with more muscle. We kind of hit on that on Friday. I wasn't able to do it this weekend, and I'll tell you guys later on why. But right now, I do want to share something that I was able to research and verify, and that is myostatin, right? Myostatin is this particular gene, MSTN gene, that it has a pathway that makes your dog muscular. Now, it is located here on chromosome 37. Now, I would say 5% of this entire bar, it's not there. It's in the following 10%. This particular dog that I have is hitting the entirety of it. I will not tell you who that dog is. I will reveal at the end of the show who it is. Trust me, you're going to want to know. You're going to want to know. And it's going to reveal a lot to you.
So that homozygosity shown in 37 right there, that first notch, the biggest notch there,
the initial 5%. So the bar, reading it from left to right, okay, at the very left tip, the first 5% you see there, right? Can you see my cursor?
Yeah.
Okay, this little tip right here should not have anything. Okay. Or better yet, it can have something, but that's not where it's at.
Yeah.
It's between the other 10% right here.
Okay.
This particular dog I have has homozygosity throughout the whole thing. And I will definitely show at the end of the show which dog it is. And you are going to tell me yourself whether this particular dog in your eyes has muscles or not. We got Perfect Storm Bullies saying, good evening, everyone. I like the more extreme pockets as long as the functionality and health is a priority. Perfect Storm, let me ask you this. Do you embark? It's funny. Today, I will tell you guys, I came across a litter that has what I was looking for. I was about to go ahead and purchase another pup. What held everything up is the minute I asked, do you embark? The answer is no. And so I definitely got to hit the brakes there. I got to research dogs that female had before. Where are they? If I can't find them, am I not finding them for a reason because of health issues? You know, if you're going to drop $6,000, $7,000, $10,000 on a pup, don't you want to know that it doesn't have genetic propensities to be sick? You know, that goes in so many different ways. Reyes says, go ahead, man.
I was going to say, let's play a scenario out here. I'm getting a dog from you for, say, $4 to $6 grand, and I ask you about embark, and you tell me you don't have it. Well, if I know it costs $150, I can't help but wonder why, with dogs at this price, that you're not willing to spend that money. It makes me feel like you're hiding something.
Usually what they'll try and tell you, and this good friends of mine have told them this, they're going to tell you, oh, embark is just for colors. You see, for me, man, whenever somebody comes out with a comment like that, embark is just for color, or oh, you don't need that because you could tell if your dog's got something. To me, it's just, it doesn't give me enough, man, to even trust you. In fact, it usually raises a red flag. Maybe if you were more forthcoming and said, look, I know embark is there. I've done phenotypical breeding my whole life, and I'm not going to change at this stage of the game. I would probably respect that a lot more than if you say, oh, genotypical breeding, that's just for colors. Dude, genotypical breeding is for everything. Everything you're seeing in the dog is genotypical. In fact, phenotypical is a secondary trait to what the genes are, right? It just is what it is. Malachi says, I love function, but every time I call out the lack of breed type in someone's dog, They always going to tell me their dog can run 278 miles faster than mine. If a dog has both, that's what I'll look for. Yeah, that's the other part of this equation. Breeders that are very thin skinned. I have always said, be the first to know what your dog has and doesn't have, so that when somebody comes to tell you, you're way ahead of them. You know, don't wait for Mike to have to come and tell you, yeah, your dog lacks breed type, for you to realize my dog lacks breed type. And if you have somebody telling you that, rather than becoming defensive, why don't you for once just try and listen?
Man.
You know, I've heard that haters hate, but don't ever like not pay attention to what they're saying, because sometimes you can misconstrue somebody that's telling you something that is real for being a hater. Don't let your ego categorize everybody that says something negative or different to your opinion about your camp to think that they're a hater, because if that's the case, then you're just never going to learn, man. You know what I mean?
Well, you got to think about this too, Raul. You know, you're in an environment with a bunch of professionals, right? And people trying to be professionals at showing these dogs and different stuff. And they don't know you. You're not old friends, right? Sometimes we know each other, but a lot of times it's just somebody, and I see it as a rare opportunity for somebody that has no bias with me at all to give me the raw and uncut version of what they're looking at. And instead of putting myself in a position to be so easily offended, I'd rather be open minded and try to look at what they're saying objectively. Like, you know
Yes.
what? You got a point, or like, yeah, we already know, or whatever, and try to be, because I think a person should be that way for
Yeah.
sure. And
We got Teray Thompson dropping a question. He says, after breeding the two dogs you bought, would you go straight back to the sire or line breed for your next move?
just depends.
Look, I'm gonna go ahead and say this. If you go ahead, okay, so I do believe in line breeding and inbreeding and in outcrossing. I believe all three are tools that must be used at different times for different things that you're trying to bring in.
100%.
However, I will say this. If you are breeding in order to grab what an actual dog has, say there's a dog right now. Give me a name. Give me a Big Mac. Here you go. Let's say Big Mac is the world's greatest dog right now, and you're shooting to grab and replicate Big Mac. To me, it's a big mistake. And I'm going to answer your question by the way I'm telling you this. To me, it's a big mistake to try to replicate Big Mac. Will you replicate Big Mac exactly? No, you won't. You're either going to make Big Mac better, or you're going to make Big Mac a little worse, but you're never going to be able to recreate him exactly like he is. If you're trying to recreate him exactly like he is, and you're not trying to make him better, by the time you get to that replication, Big Mac's window of being is going to pass you by. By the time you got to Big Mac, now you're going to have to look at whatever the next step is, because from the original point, you didn't fire at the stars to get to the moon. You were firing straight at the moon, and guess what? You only got to the highest mountain. Now you got, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so
that goes back to what we said about the breed still evolving. By the time you take a shot at getting what you see in front of you, by the time you reach it in 2 years, it's already evolved into something else. You're better off at shooting at the standard, man.
Yeah, shoot at the standard. And look, man, everybody has different tastes, bro. That's why you got different colors. And there's a particular dog that has a particular feature that you like and you want to bring it in, more power to you. But there's got to be an evolutionary process that you got to be thinking about yourself. Like, okay, Big Mac looks absolutely phenomenal, but what if I can improve his rear. And so I'm going to set out to create Big Mac with a more improved rear. Now you're setting an evolution process in motion rather than I'm going to go straight after what he is right now because I'm trying to show off exactly what they got. By the time you get there, that window, you see, that's the part that people don't understand. There's very few dogs, you could count them with one hand, that have a 10-year window. The only one I could think of in my head right off the bat like that is Rockomania, right? But I will also say this. Since from the last 5 years, let's call it from 2020, right, till now, because there's been more breed type in the standard class, in my opinion, dogs' window of being of popularity, of being a standard that you shoot for, their windows closed because now you have more breed type. Keep in mind, in 2017, for example, Rockomania was looked at as the model that you need to shoot for by a lot of people. Why is that? You didn't have too many dogs. There were some, but not as many as we have now that are closer to that breed standard, if it makes any sense. And therefore, I don't care what dog it is, that window is just, the time is just getting shorter, shorter, and shorter. This is why you need to have your own vision and always try to find a way to evolve into something better.
I think to answer Dude's question a little further too, like it depends on what he needs, because line breeding would keep your blood tight to further what you already have, and inbreeding would be adding more extreme traits to what you have. So it's like, it depends on what you need. If you're trying to recreate what you've already got, then line breeding is a part of that. If you're trying to add extreme features and build onto what you have and add these different traits, and as far as extreme, bone and girth and muscle and things like that to what you already have, then inbreeding is more how that's done.
Yeah.
Right, Ro?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Absolutely. And also with the trend where the breed is trying to go to a more extreme look, I could understand why people are going to want to do more inbreeding, and even line breeding, tight line breeding, like uncle and niece, even a half brother, half sister breeding, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Real quick, man, Hollywood, have it ready, man. Queens, New Blood Kennel, nothing but love. Appreciate you. Thank you.
Pues claro que sí, cabrón.
Pues claro que sí, cabrón. We do this every Monday, 7 p.m. CST. Hey, Mike, give me your best. Pues claro que sí, cabrón. Give it.
Pesaro que esqui. How do you say it?
It don't matter, man. Just say it. Pues claro que sí, cabrón.
Say it one more time for me.
Pues claro que sí, cabrón.
Pues claro que sí, cabrón.
There you go.
That's a tough one, man. Like, it's hard to. I can't hardly. I've listened to it a million times and don't know exactly. I had to see it written on paper to say.
Hey,
it
I wanted to put you on the spot because now you got to practice, man. Now you're gonna have to practice.
I do.
Yeah. Hey, man, let's go through some of these questions. Perfect Storm says, after all the info I've learned from you in the process of embark on my dogs now, it will always be a requirement for all my dogs from here on out. There you go. That's what it's all about, man. That's what I'm shooting for. All of my dogs get embarked. Any dog that comes off of my yard is being embarked.
I embarked one this morning.
Yeah, you called me. Oh, yeah, you embarked this morning. That's right. Yep. I used to use animal genetics out in Florida. Now that I've learned about embark, it's the only thing I use. And guys, I can't wait. I feel that the evolution of embark is going to be where you're going to not only get this generalized genetic test that they have for the markers they got. I feel that sooner or later it's going to be customizable, meaning that you're going to be able to say, okay, say I want to breed for more muscle and more bone. Can you give me the specificities as to where things are falling? Kind of like what I'm doing, but yet they're going to end up doing it is what I believe in. Adam Field says American Bully is not a working line. It is not. The dog should have a job, but it ain't running miles a day or protection work. Unless you teach it protection work, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I can see where you're coming from, Adam.
Yeah, I
Queen
do too.
says, build yourself up in honesty instead of blinding with lies. Truth will hurt you more. I couldn't agree. Drippy says, QB&K, do you think extreme class will take over and force people to start over on their yards and push out the non-extreme dogs? I think this is a natural evolution. I think to sit here and see the last five ABKC Nationals winners, to think that we're not going to push it to the limits, I think would be a
Well,
falsity.
this is a tricky thing the way it's worded right here. So
Yeah,
Drippy, what I think is what you just said. The extreme class may not be what takes over, but I think a more extreme dog in each class is what they're looking for.
I
So
agree.
there's actually an extreme class that they had a little bit of in that alternative show that they experimented with this year at Nationals, where they did some of the
Uh,
micros and they had an extreme class in that. If he's
right,
referring to that, I don't think that's what's taking over. I do
right.
think that is something they're starting to show and trying to take a look at making incorporating that into the show. But what we're actually saying is each class of dog, from the pocket to the standard and even the classic and the XL, they're
They're
wanting
getting
more
that touch
extreme
of
features.
extreme. Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree with you 100%. We have a question here from Eric Rutherford. He says, off top question. Can breeding your female only every 18 months be a positive or negative? I could already tell you it's a negative. City near me are making this law with many other rules. How do you guys feel about laws breeders have? Well, I will tell you this. Breeding a female every 18 months is definitely a negative.
Mhm.
The reason for that is every time a female dog goes in heat and they have their period,
They
right?
have scars on their cervix, right?
In the uterus, inside of the
And under the
uterus,
uterus. Yeah, yeah.
the uterus gets scarred up. And therefore, there's an injury to the uterus every time she goes in heat and has her period. Now, I've been asked in the past, should you breed females back to back to back to back? Here's the deal. You can't say yes to all of them, and you can't say no to all of them. It also depends on how the female recovers.
Mm-hmm.
The reason I would have a very big issue with breeding a female every 18 months is, say you breed her the first time at 20 months, and now you got to wait 18 months. That means if she's having her period every 6 months, she's literally going to damage her uterus 2 times before she's being able to be bred again, right? And in essence, they're also cutting that female's breeding career short, as she's only going to really be able to give you 2 litters because, to go ahead and wait 18 months after she's 3 years old, what, you're going to breed her when she's 4.5 again? To me personally, I understand where you're coming from. This is another form of BSL laws. They're not necessarily saying you can't, but they're making it so difficult where they're kind of pushing you out. I think part of the problem with breeders in general is this. I think in all breeding communities, the majority of breeders are backyard breeders, period. I hate to say that. And because they are backyard breeders, one, they're a lightning rod for criticism. And, unfortunately, the rest of the breeders get, thrown under the bus with them. And then number two, they're not there to stand up, against legislation or any of that. They're just there to make a quick buck. And so, unfortunately, these communities know this. And I hate to tell you, Eric, but it sounds to me like that's just the tip of the iceberg of what's coming to you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What we've always recommended to everybody here is that we don't breed a dog till its third heat, unless the third heat is younger than 18 months. Then it would be the
Right.
fourth heat. And then we also the ethical standard would be to breed a dog 4 times in a row, unless you hit the number of puppies that is
Correct.
expected from mama, which is somewhere between 32 and 36 puppies. And if
Michael
she,
Higgins said, "Who you been listening to, man?
hey, look, I know, I just want to let you know, look,
Man, I'm
and if
proud of you, brother."
if that dog hits that number in 3 litters, she's done.
Yeah,
If she hits it, if she's at 26 puppies and has had 4 litters and she's young enough, you might get another litter out of her.
right.
But that's what I learned here at QBN. Just so.
Yeah. Hey, man, I'm proud of you, man. I couldn't have said it better myself. The way I always did it was 32 to 36 pups, no more than 4 litters. And the only way we're going to get to that 4th litter is, say the female had a litter of only 2 or 3 pups. She bounced back and recovered. That can happen to anybody. That sort of thing. I usually try not to go past 4.5, 5 years on a female. Our dogs, XLs, they're expected to live 8 to 10 years. Why would you breed her at 5? Like,
Yeah.
if you didn't get what you wanted by then, bro, you're just not going to get what you want, man.
That's like breeding a 50-year-old woman. You know, it can be done, but I wouldn't recommend it.
Yeah. We have Lorenzo asking, in your opinion, who do you think is closer to the breed standard as a whole? Merles or XLs, I guess, as a whole? Man,
Well,
that's a tough one.
That's a tricky question.
I've seen
Merles can be any class, so
yeah, it could be any class. So yeah, I've seen some standard Merles that obviously are going to have more breed type. I think the only way you can do it, because I think Kyle hit it on the head, is apples to oranges. If you were to say XL Merles to non-XL Merles, now we're on an even playing field. Honestly, guys, I'll be straight up with you. You guys notice I pivoted this past year. I pivoted because I felt that the XL is where the majority of creativity by breeders has happened. I feel like they brought in blood, that Mastiff blood, that once it touches, it's more persistent than the Terrier blood, if you can believe that.
it is.
And
The Terrier
therefore,
blood's pretty sticky, but that Mastiff blood, man, it brings in some things that I wish we never brought in.
it's really hard to get rid of once you have them, man. So, Lorenzo, I can't answer that, man. I guess if I answer it the way you're asking, I would say Merles, because you have Merles that are standards that are going to look more like the standard. But if you were to ask me XLs on both camps, I would say they still need improvement.
I think XLs need the most work on fine tuning in their breed type. You know, with now that we've got a better understanding of the expectations of breed type amongst classes, I think the XL is not that there isn't any, but that's where we need the most work. And you know,
But the way I see it, Mike, and I've spoken to you about it in the past, and I'm talking to breeders out here that are listening, those that want to do it right, it also gives the most opportunity.
that's why I breed XLs. I feel like there's a lot of room for us to grow there, and that's growth I'm interested in. You know, I love the XL dogs. I think we're just on the cusp of turning a corner with. I mean, it's already happening. I just don't think it's a majority yet, but we're getting there, man. And I think when we bring that breed type to the XL, that's the most awesome
I think
dog
that
there is to me. Yeah.
I think that's when it's going to go nuts, man.
Yeah.
Eric Rutherford says Indianapolis, Indiana. Oh wow, is making it a law. And also, you must take them to a vet and get them chipped. I'm okay with that part. Must not breed, but every 18 months. I'm trying to tell people on Facebook next they will outlaw bullies.
Oh man, I wish the people that made these laws knew a little bit about the dog's, quality of life and what's best for the dog, man. I don't think that's aligning with that at all.
Queen's New Blood Kennel says, not too tough. There are some XLs out there that are pure gold. And I agree. There are some XLs out there that are amazing. She says, MSB, Mr. Ohio is an amazing boy. Okay. I don't take the flowers from any dog out there that deserves them. But as a whole, the XL just lacks. And you could tell by I don't care what ABKC show you go to. It is rare that an XL is going to take best in show. It's just not going to happen.
You know, that's a great
Very
example. That's a great example of that. If you got all the different breeds in there, you got every best in breed in there. I mean, they're just very rare for an XL to take it.
Yeah. Adam says he likes tall standard short XLs. I do too. G-Line says, can you breed a tall male to a short female? G-Line, let me tell you this, man. I've been against that for a long time. I really have. Because I've always felt like, say you grab a pocket female and you breed her to an XL, you may get some wonkiness because there's more than a 2-inch difference at wither height between the dogs. With that being said, I will say, whether I agree with it or not, I think more people are going to be breeding XLs to either taller pockets or smaller standards. And that 2-inch, wither recommendation, rule of thumb is just going to fly out the window. That's what I truly believe in. Mike, you got anything on that before we head on out of here?
Yeah, man, 2.5 inches maybe is what is about as far as what we would say people should do. But now it's changed, man. Now,
hey,
like
speaking of 2 inches, let me get Kyle up in here. Kyle, what's up, bro? Listen.
Yo.
Oh, okay. So Kyle, I mean to say his finger was 2 inches away from the button. That's
it.
Wrong thing. The way, man. G-Line cracking up, man. They're all cracking up with the new button and whatnot. Hey, man, start us up, man.
I'm liking this. I'm liking this new button, man. It's a lot better than just the Hollywood button.
Hollywood. Yeah. We got to remake it, man. We gotta. All right, Hollywood. Don't get carried away. You might end up getting a black eye, man. Come on now.
It's your boy Hollywood Holland, your boy in the back at the queue. We're catching you on the next one.
Michael Higginson, the H-Dog.
Michael Higginson, man, from Creekbank Kennels out here in Arkansas. Really enjoyed learning with y'all tonight, man, and talking these dogs. Catch you on the next one.
Hey, this is Raul from the queue, and before I go, I told you guys I was going to show you which one of those dogs I had that actually had the MSTN gene at chromosome 37. I'm glad I realized because I was about to click off and just leave. So I'm just going to show you by picture which one of my dogs has homozygosity on chromosome 37. And you tell me if you think she is muscled up or not. There it is, man.
Oh, yeah.
There it is.
Girl there.
There it is. Hey, guys, we do this every Monday at 7 p.m. CST. It's been Raul from the queue, and I'll be catching you on the next one.
Here we go. Kill the whistle. We are going for a whole hour. Straight dog talk and the song. Jump on in and speculate. Show up on time. Don't be weak and late. We are community, so don't hate. And learn to cooperate. Yeah, hit that like button and do your thing. 5 membership will get you in. So let's talk dogs and don't waste no time. Monday 7 PCST. Don't come doing the HATE. Otherwise Hollywood will give you the BYE. Here we go, kill the whistle. Oh yeah, we